Hey everyone, and welcome back to Planet Zoo. Welcome back to the next diorama build. Today with a fantasy one, and this is inspired by Monument Valley. This is a mobile game. I don't know if you guys know this game, but this game in particular has a very specific art style which plays basically with perspective. So it's a 2D environment, but you can rotate as in a 3D environment, and it kind of changes the perspective, and you have to basically move your little character from one end of the level to the other end of the level, or layer of the level, by using or abusing the perspective, however you want to call that. But the trick about this is that if you do rotate this thing in a very clever way, you can connect certain areas. And this was the basic inspiration for today's build. I want to jump in with something that is rather interesting, because I sent a picture to the lady designer and she was like, yeah, it's looking good so far. And I was like, yep, but that's it. And she's like, that kind of looks still unfinished. And I would do some terrain and stuff. And I totally get where she's coming from. And you will see that in the finished. By the way, this is the most stupid thing to say at the beginning of a video, but you guys will know what I mean at the end of the video. It's very important, you know. Sometimes in builds, it is also about the exploration of the build rather than the I don't want to say it finished product, because the finished product obviously should be nice, but the challenge in this one was not about making it like crazy detailed or make like a lot of foliage or whatnot. The challenge of this one was to see if it works with the perspective, and if I can come up with a way to make this habitat look from one perspective as this floating habitat as it is, and then from another perspective basically completely different. You will see in the real-time part how much this works, and I really love that. You can, no matter how you rotate the camera, you do get different views, and it's rather special, because you will see in the time-lapse already that some things in this build are really weird. You know, they don't connect to each other, but on the thumbnail and on the final product, you will basically see that these things seem as if they were connected, and if you rotate the camera, they are not. And I love the fact how that works. But honestly, it took me hours and hours to get that done, and you only get the nice and clean bits in the video. You don't get all the testing involved, you don't get all the camera angles. I did set like a camera on there, like a security camera, to always see the right angle, you know. And then I figured, okay, that's kind of a little bit of a weird thing, because you always have to jump into the camera, but the problem is, being in the camera, you can't adjust things, you know. It's like you can jump in to correct your things and just have a look, but you cannot you know, always go to the same position and then adjust your layers and stuff. So I always needed to jump out of the camera, security camera, go back and move the things. And also, one of the biggest challenges was to come up with an idea how to make the habitat work. Because in fact, at the beginning, like, this is already 2 hours in, when I finally found out how to do that. But, you know, I needed to build the habitat first and then delete the soil around it. And you can see that the habitat boundaries are still floating in the air. I know it has been a trick at the very beginning of Planet Zoo, but I totally forgot about how that worked. And so I needed to just, first of all, come up with the fact that you can still make it a habitat even though the barriers are not really connected. However, an issue obviously is you cannot change anything about this habitat anymore. Once you have that, this is the habitat. Once you have deleted the terrain around it, it's done. You should basically not put terrain back in, because that will bring the game to crash, or will actually cause some awful confusion with the game, because it just kind of touches the barrier and then it all goes nuts. So yeah, it was a really, really big challenge in many things with this build over here, to make it really stand out and look the way it looks on the screenshot and on the thumbnail. So basically, this is a thumbnail-worthy build, if you want. But honestly, it's one of those things where you have to hope that people get attracted by a, you know, honestly, and again, this is referring back to what the lady said, a rather unfinished looking build. It looks almost like a work in progress if you are not used to this type of art style, and if you don't know that I was opting for this type of art style, and you basically cannot see the moving image, so you don't know that this plays with perspective. So a lot of things that you have to hope that people understand before clicking the video, or if they click, that they get the information rather quick, which is not the case in my video, because we are already 5 minutes in, and now you finally hopefully got the idea. I'm rambling. Anyways, this build was really challenging, and I think it really opened doors for me in terms of exploring these, more fantasy-ish builds in the future. I really think that this build over here was one of the coolest things I've done in a long time in terms of trying new things, apart from the fact that we do dioramas in general, but it is working a lot with sidelines and, just in general with like the perspective, and it really does work pretty well also with the animals involved. I have to admit that, traversable area again is a pretty nasty thing in this build. Let's call it that way. I would love to use other words, but then YouTube is going to demonetize my video, but you know what I'm aiming at. This really is frustrating as hell, but you can't change it, and so obviously not everything is traversable in this habitat, but it's never meant to be like a functioning habitat in terms of giving them enough space. However, the Bengal tigers can move pretty nice in there. They have some cool little areas to chill. They can even climb into the tower in the background, and all these little things actually work pretty well. But now you can already see this is the first little perspective trick I'm working on. I'm building this little platform over here, and you can see from this angle over here it does connect to the platform, but it actually doesn't. So you can see over here I was trying to get the shadow a little bit away, and I just extended it a little bit so that the shadow kind of works. And here you can see this is the perspective I was going for then. And I then changed also the background color to be able to spot where I'm working on a little bit better. To be honest, it's the casting light in this game sometimes works pretty weird. So if you make like a very bright background, everything is like brightened up, which should be the case. It's not really ray tracing, it's kind of a global illumination thing. And if you make the background more dark, the thing in the foreground also pops a little bit more because it has the dark-ish contrast from the backside. So yeah, there's kind of a little bit of a trick you can use in order to make your build look a little bit more nice, and the other way around, make it pop more, make it pop less. It depends a little bit on what you want and how you want to have the scene, but you can definitely work with backgrounds in order to make things look better or worse. Reason why I'm doing this is because my Ansel still doesn't work, so I can't use green screen effects in this game anymore because whatever Nvidia is doing, it's not working. And I'm tired of reinstalling the driver and stuff. It just all doesn't work, and so I'm just like, it's just, it is what it is. I don't know what it is. Is it only me, guys, or is in the kind of, I don't know, in the last couple of years maybe or month, I have the feeling that technology got a lot more unreliable, and all these constant updates, which we were used to, but the amount of updates and the time frame in between is just ridiculous at this point. And even with me, who is basically spending a good portion of its day or his or her day on the computer and being really in there, even I am starting to have serious issues with coping with all these updates and stuff. It's like almost like you go 2 weeks on a holiday and you come back and basically nothing works anymore because you first of all have to do like 20 million updates, and if you don't do them in the same order, in the right order, and I don't know, when you don't drink your coffee in the right minute and just don't rotate around yourself in the right speed and with the right angle, then things don't work out perfectly fine. I'm aiming at this, just like, it's ridiculous. I really have the feeling that they should chill down a little bit on all these updates and stuff. Like, take a little bit of time, maybe once every 2 months would be enough, and then just make like a significant update. Like, just don't go crazy like most of the services do right now, and it's like, hey, we've got a patch, let's give it to the people. Oh, look at that, we changed the color, let's do a patch. It's, I don't know, guys, I'm really like, it is just so annoying, and I have the feeling it's the same like with graphics card and everything. I mean, I get it, there's a new game and you want to have the driver really made for this game, but how about making a driver so it just basically works very fine in the first place, and only if there are like significant issues you gotta have to change that for a specific game, and just like make the overall performance good, and just don't crash things every 2 weeks. I don't know, it just really is annoying. But anyways, that's just a different topic, and I will now leave you guys alone with the rest of the speed build. But there is some spicy stuff in the real-time part in the end. I also have like information about my channel if you want to listen to that. It's all in the real-time part, and you obviously get a good view on the finished product in terms of how it works with the perspectives and stuff. And you'll find that build, as well always, is not often, right? But as most often, you'll find that one in the workshop as well. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you being around. I really hope you stick with me until the real-time part. But anyways, enjoy the rest of the time lapse, and I talk to you in the real-time part. There we go, everyone. Welcome to the actual real-time part here. And we are in the finished diorama build. And oh boy, I'm so proud of that one. It was a little bit of a challenge. It was a little bit of a first into the more fantasy build things. And it is the first to try a little bit with, you know, the perspective in here. And honestly though, I'm really happy with how that works. I'm going to show you real quick. You see this from this angle, it all looks pretty much normal and pretty much as if this is meant to be. You know, we've got a connection here, we've got a connection down here with the door, and as we move around, you can see, oh boy, everything changes and everything looks different, and this is just look at how the difference just appears while you move around. I'm just so stoked like how this actually goes together, you know. If you position yourself like slightly in this correct angle here, like it's meant to be, oh god, it's, you know, you have to find the perfect angle, which is somewhat like so. This is the perfect angle, you know. We can also just move the mouse a little bit higher up. So there you go. This is where the angle goes into the perfection that I wanted to create. You can see the tiger going around like there, you know, going down the staircase. And then if we move slightly to the side, you can just see how the perspective changes and the connection is just completely gone. I am so freaking happy with how that worked out, and it's just like, it really does the job. It really works as in Monument Valley, as I was just talking about. And yeah, I'm just really happy with how this entire thing turned out, and I'm just really happy that this is even possible. You've seen at the beginning how this works with the actual habitat boundaries. It was a bit of a challenge until I figured out how exactly that works, but now I'm really happy with this build. So now it's up to you guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more of these fantasy kind of builds, and now I really hope that I sparked your imagination. If so, let me know what kind of theme you want next and what you think could work in this very particular diorama build. And yeah, I'm just really happy with how that turned out. Don't get me wrong, it's a rather simple build, but I just wanted to test first of all if it works, and I'm gonna do the same as with the other dioramas. I'm just, you know, crawling closer to the perfection and trying to get up with another idea that maybe works a bit better than this one even does already, but I'm very happy with how that turned out. So I hope you guys are too. Again, please let me know all of your feedback down below in the comments. And there's something new on the channel. I don't know if you can see it already or if it takes a couple of hours until it's fixed, but I changed finally the membership to 99 cents. So if you guys want to support my channel beyond the normal, you know, easy way, so subscribing and just watching the videos, you know, that's for free and so on. So if you want to do this, you can become a member of the channel. Sometimes I do post some screenshots and so on only for members. So if you're interested in that, and I, you know, every now and then have like a little app update for you, make sure to check that one out. It's 99 cents now, which is pretty easy, I guess. It's the lowest amount I can give you, and I think this is, you know, fair enough for those who might want to. It's not a must, you know, don't get me wrong. I just wanted to let you know because you easily oversee these kind of things, but I always thought that, you know, $4.99 is quite a stretch, and I'm happy that I can finally change that, and so I did. But there's still the $4.99 tier if you want to support even more. That's very neat, but I just wanted to let you know. Other than that, we are going to continue with these builds in the future. I really hope you guys are enjoying those as much as I do. And now, most important of all, I really hope you guys are good. Stay safe, everyone, and I talk to you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.